Well, God bless you. Thank you for joining me today for Midday Motivation, your 7 minute plunge. Listen, I'm excited to share with you the word on today to motivate you. We have been sharing for the last 2 weeks on an incredible series, Heal So You Can Live. Listen, for the next few moments, I just want to encourage you from the thought life beyond the pain. Life beyond the pain. Faces many of us on a day to day basis have experienced relationship failures. We experience toxicity in many relationships, whether it is emotional abuse, whether it is physical abuse. Now we have social media abuse and even spiritual abuse. Today, I want to encourage you in several areas today that I believe it is important for many of us to heal. Heal from the childhood trauma, heal from the teenage bullying, heal from the church hurt, and yet to heal from the things that are constantly transpiring on a day to day basis. I believe it's important as a therapist. I believe it's important as a bishop, as a pastor, one who is around many people on a day to day basis. I'm learning more and more that many people, whether they are in the church or out of the church, are experiencing pain. While, listen, pain is inevitable, torture is optional. It is important that many of us, on a day to day basis, we will experience pain. We will experience some things that have caused us hardship, that has caused us hurt even to the core of our heart. But the reality is that and as well as you, often experience pain. But in the day to day functionality of our lives, experiencing the pain is one thing, but constantly living in torture is a whole new thing. Listen, I want to encourage you. You don't have to continue in the pain, nor do you have to continue in the torture. Today, I want to share some things with you that I believe today it is important because it's now time for you and I to live beyond the pain, to live beyond the childhood trauma, the things that have affected our lives. Many of us cannot even enter into a healthy relationship because of the things that we've experienced in the past. People who have dropped us, people who have rejected us, people who have abandoned us and left us emotionally scarred. Did you not know in order to heal, you have to hurt first? Many of us on a day to day basis are hurting, but I decree and declare that it's time to heal from the emotional abuse, to heal from the physical abuse, to heal from the psychological things that have scarred our lives today. The things that it's important that you and I would remove ourselves from in order to heal. There is life beyond your pain. In reality, recently my wife went through a bout with COVID, and understanding the bout with COVID, her lungs were affected. Things that around her that she would normally be able to function in could not function in its totality. But I watch on a day to day basis as she continues to gain her strength, as she continues to work and move into the area of restoring her health. It is important because if you and I are going to restore our health, if you and I are going to get to the place that has been assigned for our life, for a healthy lifestyle, there is life beyond the pain. Watch, this is important because if you and I are going to understand how to heal from our pain, how to heal from our past, how to understand that there is life after pain. Listen, recently, as she came through during Christmas time, she asked and desired one thing for Christmas, and that was some roller skates. Listen, she got on the roller skates, and at one moment in time, from July rather, to November, she could not experience the breathing correctly. But in the month of December, she discovered that there was life after pain. There was life after COVID. She began to ride her skates. Listen, today, I want to tell somebody it's time to get back on the skates. It's time to get back on the wheel. It's time to get back into life, to enjoy your life. Three things that I want to release to you today that I believe it's going to be essential in order for you and I to heal and to begin to live again. Number one, the first thing that we've got to recognize and identify is toxic love. toxic love. Toxic love is important because many of us are in toxic relationships. Toxic love. I love you today, don't like you tomorrow. I'm okay with things that you've done to me. That I have now, watched this, allow you to do this on a consistent basis, to treat me a certain way. But it's okay as long as I've got a roof over my head, as long as I'm in a relationship. I'm not alone today. Toxic love, it's dangerous because many of us have trained our brains. We have trained our brains to receive this kind of love. While love operates in many facets, toxic love is dangerous to the psychology as well as the emotional state of an individual. Park with me for a moment. You and I, we're going to heal from the past. If we're going to heal and understand that we can live and live again, it's going to be important that, number one, that we would train, or rather retrain our brains from toxic relationships. In toxic relationships, there is a string and as well as a sting that causes you and I to accept abuse through toxicity. It is important day after day we find ourselves in dynamics of relationships that are unhealthy. But realistically, we know that we need to move from it. Today, I want to help somebody because there's a string. We're constantly holding on to relationships that are not balanced. We're constantly holding on to relationships that are not allowing us to be equally yoked. Yes. You've entered into a relationship. You said, and I hear you, Bishop, I'm in a relationship now that is unhealthy. It is unbalanced. We have now grown apart. It also can be a toxic relationship or a toxic love. We remained in relationships because of familiarity. We remained in relationships. Listen, I'm not telling anyone to divorce, but we remain in relationships because of convenience. Listen, today, if it is toxic and there is abuse, especially physical abuse, you do not have to stay in that. Now, someone just said, well, Bishop, I'm not getting physically abused. Emotional abuse damaged, watch this, it damaged your emotional being. It damages your confidence. It damages your ability to trust. Toxic relationships not only has a string, but it has a sting. And the sting causes many of us to stay where we have now, watch this, it is now no longer beneficial. It's now no longer healthy. Today, it's important that you and I would identify toxic love. You may be in a toxic relationship, but it's time now to reassess that relationship, because if you're going to heal so you can live, you got to understand that there is life beyond the pain. Many folk, I've watched this day after day. We're afraid to move forward because there's a convenience. We're afraid to move forward because there's a security. There is life after, listen, the pain. I've got many sisters, many brothers who have divorced, but they understand that there is life after pain. So to number one, you and I must identify toxic love. Number two, we must identify a toxic mentality. I'm almost there. A toxic mentality is when the conscience becomes resentful. A resentful conscience, and the conscious, when overwhelmed with memories, when it's overwhelmed with memories that become reminders of my past pain, one of the dangerous things that occur is now retaliation. Oh God, many of us are functioning in retaliation. I'm going to get them back. I don't like the way they treated me. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Today, it is dangerous because now your mentality has become toxic, and you have, although you may have left them, watch this, there are many folk who have left toxic relationship, toxic love, but the mentality is toxic. I don't want anybody. I don't want another relationship, or rather, I am now functioning in a place of retaliation. Someone said this. Resentment shows that you are a person of moral character who knows right from wrong, therefore knows when wrong is done against them. You and I cannot continue to function with a toxic mentality, because a toxic mentality will do two things. It will keep people out, yet it will keep people from coming in. You'll never receive full love and operate in pain, in healing after the pain, because you're still functioning in a toxic mentality. Let me close right here. Third thing as I close, it is a toxic focus. If your focus is toxic, you're not going to heal so that you can live. You are still functioning in the realm of anything looks like it, anything that sounds like it, anything that reminds me of it. My focus is now distracted. I want to help somebody today to get past toxicity, because if your focus is broken, your focus in the Karate Kids needs refocusing. I got to close right here. It is important to know that anytime your focus is toxic rather, you are functioning in a place where you're constantly operating on the things of your past. I'm leaving right here. Future often cannot find you. I wrote this. Future cannot find you because many of us are still flirting with finish. The things that are finished, we're still hanging around it. We're still flirting with it because your focus is broken, because you're used to toxic relationship. Today, I want to tell somebody that it's time to get motivated to look forward. It's time to get motivated to look into expectation. If you continue, I've been saying this for months now, if you continue to focus on the hurter, you will not embrace the healer when they come, because there is a toxicity to your mindset. Today, I want to encourage you. You can heal so you can live. Listen, there is life beyond your pain. Pain is optional, but pain is inedible, but toxic is optional. Today, I want to encourage you: no longer operating in torment, no longer operating in torture. I want to be free. You can be free, my brother. You can be free, my sister. It's time to live again. God bless you. I'll see you.